So, Harvey, in doing your readings, you've been able to pick up on spirit attachments with certain clients, correct?
Yes, certain clients,
Yeah, and the first
which you
time,
happen to be one of them.
yes, I am one of them. And the first time I met you in 2013, I was having a problem. I had gotten into a physical fight that I was able to defend myself from. However, I felt extremely paranoid and I had pretty bad post traumatic stress. So I thought, hey, that Harvey guy, this kind of feels like something's on me. Like, and I'm a paranormal investigator. It feels like there's. Didn't quite feel like myself for sure. And I was like, let me see if he can pick up on something, and you absolutely did. So we removed the attachment through your directions, and I immediately felt better. So, once again, when this happened 9 years later, much worse, I was having a series of health problems, went to the hospital numerous times, and they found absolutely nothing. So, who's the first guy that popped into my head when that happened? You. So I was like, okay, let's see what Harvey can do here. And I remember the conversation, and strangely enough, I mean, of course, it's not that you did a bad job at all, but you just scanned my energy, and you're just like,
Right.
hey, Adam, like, you're fine. I don't pick up on anything. So, with that being said, I actually have a question for you about this. Can spirit entities or attachments, can they hide from psychic mediums?
I want to say yes. I know for a fact they can move around physically. They can move from one spot to another spot. And I always tell people, if you have any physical malady, pain, whatever, you have a weak spot, you got a bad, whatever it is, protect those spots, in your mind as much as possible, because those are your chinks in your armor and that spiritual energy. And, where there's a will, there's a way, and especially if, these energy draining vampires is literally what they are, they become accustomed to your energy. And no matter what you do, well, if you don't know exactly, that's when you go to doctors that they're telling you you're fine, right? You don't know what to do about it.
It felt like an organ inside of me was gonna rupture. I went to the hospital. I mean, they didn't find anything, and then it ended up just being a small chiropractic issue. And then he got swelling in my genitalia area. I mean, and it was starting to get painful. But then when I got checked out, found nothing. And on top of that, later that week, the pain went away all of a sudden. And then I'm getting shocks in my heart, and I wake up one morning like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a heart attack. So I went to the urgent care facility, and once I walked in there, like, I'm sorry, I need to go to the hospital right now. And they called the ambulance for me and brought me to the hospital, and doing all the testing and everything, like blood tests and everything, specific tests to see if I had a heart attack, and it wasn't even close. It was like,
Right.
the test score was like, it's supposed to be like a 45 for a heart attack, and it was a 6.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. And as soon as I walked out of that hospital door, it was like nothing even happened.
Wow.
But with all that being said, a few months passes by, and I haven't gotten any better. It's matter of fact, I'm even worse now. Now I'm like thinking my ulcerative colitis has come back, but it's like colitis on steroids now, and I haven't gone to the hospital yet for this. And then it was like, that first reading, it's like, okay, there can't be nothing going on. Let's go back to Harvey. And I was like, okay, I forgot to mention that I was feeling lack of empathy. So I get a reading from you again, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling like my empathy has plummeted, Harvey. Like, there's just nothing there. And then that's when it clicked for you, and that's when you started to pick up on the attachments.
Right.
And you were just like, oh, okay, you've picked up a hitchhiker.
Right, and it did. It had hid originally from me.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and then I had asked you, when we had that second conversation, I'd asked you for some time so I could, really get into it. And while I was into it, I started getting visions of a possibility. I mean, not more than a possibility, a plausibility. So I drew a picture because that's the only way that, me explaining is one thing, but I felt that it needed some sort of illustration to give you an idea because of where the pressure points where you were feeling the crushing sensations, the crowded, so I drew this female spirit wrapped around your body, from the back.
Yeah.
Holding, I think I drew it. I have the picture, I'd have to look for it, but, the one arm reaching over and crushing you right here, with the hand, the heart area. And then the legs wrapped around and they're cross-legged in front of you, pushing down, pushing in, and crushing you down in those areas that you were experiencing issues with.
She had black eyes, and it was like anger and anxiety on steroids.
Yeah, big time.
That's what I felt from that whole thing. And of course, when you drew the picture, I'm like, yeah, that's creepy.
Right.
Creepy as all hell. And then you said you should probably see a shamanic healer as soon as possible.
I did say that because I'm very limited. What I do, I'm very good at what I do, but when it comes to stuff like this, like I said, I never had to contact a priest before, and there's a priest. I never had to call a shaman before, or shaman, or have a person, or even tell a person to go see somebody. Yeah. And here it was. Yeah. I found the picture. Could I share it on my screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here it is, people. The black eyes, and that's, it's not necessarily, it's a really bad representation of Adam, but, you can see this is what I was talking exactly about. Yeah. See how the arm comes wrapped around over the top and the legs crossed around you?
Yeah, and she was a nasty one. So that's what, when I was walking around that mausoleum, that's what happened when I forgot to disengage from spirit and protect myself. It was just the one time that I didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's...
Oh, it takes once.
Yeah.
Only once.
Yeah. And with all that being said, Harvey, that's my purpose in making this, is it happened to the cop, it happened to me. Very real. It's a very real thing. And then sometimes the hospital and the therapist, if they're not working out...
No, because they're thinking, well, obviously he's having a neurological episode or something. Maybe he just wants attention.
Yeah. It's like if those two aren't working out, then it's probably a spiritual problem then, more than likely.
It's like you and I as paranormal investigators. As investigators, what do we do first? We try to, here's that term, debunk the obvious. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So once you get all the obvious reasons out in the open, and it's still not explaining what is going on. Option two, or it's out of the ordinary for sure, thus making it paranormal, because it's not normal. So when you strive to go to the lengths that we do as paranormal investigators to debunk obvious things, and your debunking was going to the doctors.
Yeah.
I can just imagine how you felt when you were feeling like crap, and the doctor's telling you, well, I'm not quite sure what to tell you, but physically, we don't see anything.
Yeah, very frustrating.
Inside of you, the blood test and stuff, we don't see anything out of normal range.
Yeah. frustrating and frightening at the same time.
Right.
You know?
And then here you are, losing all that weight and just, being sour to the world and no empathy, it's not fair, So going to the shaman, how did that help?
Tremendously. Like, the difference is night and day, Harvey. Like, if you were inside of me, like if you were being me, you're like, yeah, holy shit, this is not you, man. Like, you've been to a lot of places, Harvey. I've also been to a lot of places. I think you can agree with me when I say the most frightening thing is one of the most frightening things you can experience is losing yourself.
And just
knock on wood.
Yeah.
And just like, holy shit, all this behavior is not me at all.
Right. But at least you were able to, you engage with the knowledge that it is, and accepted that, this is not me. Some people, they would have missed those clues, and the spirit energy saying, don't worry about it. You're perfect. They're crazy. We're not. So making it normal, a normal thing. For the afflicted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now we're here, and I would have to say, I would put my recovery at about an 85 to 90% rate now. In terms of physical,
a lot better than it was.
Absolutely, and I'll take it. I mean, there's still a little problems going on, but I mean, I will definitely take this over where I was. Right. And I have to. You've helped me before, then you helped me again. So I have to thank you very much for that, Harvey. You were part of the team that saved my life.
Well, I mean, wow. Wow, no one's ever said that to me before, for helping them doing what I do. So, you're welcome.